of the demonstration. So TES Wizard Terminology Extraction Suite is a terminology extraction application that uses a statistic-based method to automatically extract terms, and it is written in Perl, which is a programming language. Therefore, the application itself is compatible with other operating systems apart from Windows, such as Linux and Mac. The suite, hence the name suite, is comprised of two smaller softwares or software applications, the TS Wizard and the TS Editor. As for the TS Wizard, it extracts terms or candidate terms from monolingual or bilingual corpus, and uh, followed by TS Editor, which searches for translation equivalents in a parallel corpus if available, and also it edits terms in its interface, hence the name editor. And we will start with the wizard, of course. So this is the interface of the first tool. The first columns are for the encoding of the files, and the other buttons are to select the character set of the corpus that we are going to work on. And you can either work on a monolingual corpus or a bilingual corpus. Bilingual corpus should be aligned in parallel, and the sentences should be separated by tabulations. But you only have to choose which language you are targeting. As for now, we will work with the monolingual corpus. Let's choose from the resources. I have an article about Khashoggi. It's in English. We'll select it. And the second one, which has been activated, as you can see, the other ones are grayed out until you reach them, so they are either activated or deactivated along the process. So we will select the output file. It's where the program will save the file generated for the second tool, which is the editor. So I will choose the desktop so we can find it easily. Name it findings, and then we configure the engrams. Here we can select the lower limit and the upper limit of the term, of the n of the term, and here we may choose the stop words of the first language. As we've seen during the class, the stop words are the most used words or words in a language. They are adverbs, nouns, some pronouns, articles, which are basically not that useful when extracting technical terms. So we will choose this in English. We check this one and press OK. And then about the splitting, this option allows us to select the partition allocated for the output file, because the editor cannot work on or cannot handle large files, so we may partition it. For instance, for now we will not split it, for instance, but I will split another file. We may calculate the engrams, and this file has been created. If we open it using this format, it will display the extracted terms using the wizard, and it's each one's frequency in the corpus. So this is the first extraction, and it has been successful. And in order to do another or to practice another extraction, you have to press new, and we may return to the first column or button, and then we choose another corpus. This time I'm going to choose uh, the glossary that has been given to us when we are translating the book of the herbization. Again, we will have to select the output directory, name it findings, and the stop words. And this time I will split because the glossary is rich, and of course the editor cannot handle it. It will make it lag. So we'll split it, and then we calculate. As you can see here, a lot of files have been generated, and now we may use the TES editor to display the findings. First, we will see the files that the editor accepts. It's either a monolingual corpus or a bilingual, which is aligned in parallel, or we may open also a terminology list, which is a document text that contains terms, one term per line. And this is the option we will use. Open candidate terms. The candidate terms are the terms extracted by the wizard. It's on the desktop. And here are our findings. I will choose, for instance, the part 2. And this is how they are displayed. It shows again the frequency of the term within the corpus. The second one is the terms, and this is where we will find translation equivalents from a parallel corpus. The the editor also can give concordance within the corpus, and for the sake of reading the term or finding the term in the context, I will now demonstrate how it finds translation equivalence, and for that we will click on new, and that's how we will be able to work on it again. Now I will work on a parallel corpus that I have made myself, aligned in parallel, and the sentences are separated by tabulations. So this is, for instance, the English term list that has been extracted from the parallel corpus. It's small, but it's simply for the sake of the demonstration. And now we will have to specify the parallel corpus. And this is it. Now, before proceeding with the translation, we have to configure it. And this is a small interface. As for the nmax increment and decrement, is to select the maximum increment and decrement of n compared to the n of the original term, and the maximum time is the maximum time spent by the algorithm before coming up with a candidate or a translation equivalent from the corpus or the parallel corpus. And the maximum sentences, the number of the sentences from the parallel corpus to scan before coming up with a translation equivalent. And of course the number of candidates are the ones will be displayed here on the drop down box. So And the last one is to select the L2 stop words, which are the stop words of the target text or the target language. And of course, case sensitive to respect the lowercase and the uppercase, and reverse parallel corpus if you want to reverse the order of the languages. You press OK, and then you select one. When you click translate, it will give you candidate terms, and you may choose one of them. For example, one advantage become un avantage in French. A shared meaning is, for instance, sont partagés. In English, en anglais, similar form becomes forme similaire, such a system d'un tel système, and scientific terms, the term scientifique. I didn't use stop words for the target language because I want to demonstrate how it is possible to edit terms while working on them, because hence the name editor. So we may omit articles or unwanted words that have been extracted beside the term. For instance, we may omit this part, and let's say that the extraction terminology extraction has been done and we have finished. We may save the file as a document text, name it for example data, on the desktop. So this is the file, we will open it, and so this is how it looks like. If we copy it, for instance, and we create an Excel file, it's possible to paste the findings onto the columns, and each one will be in its respective column. And afterwards we may even add more columns, for instance the pronunciation using phonetical description. So this is a monolingual glossary, and it's only monodirectional. If you want, like by universal, if you want to apply the by university concept, we may, for instance, copy the one column and reverse the order, and then sort the terms in alphabetical order, and the result will be two files, and one is monolingual. I mean, there's a by university, you can look for the term in both languages, and then we may save it, and then we have a new file that has our terms and its translation equivalents and more columns if needed. And by this I have finished the demonstration. I hope that my demonstration was up to your standards, sir. Thank you.